Hello, class. Thank you for taking some minutes of your time for listening to me. The book I pick is Getting to Yes by Roger Fisher and William Ury. I picked this book because it's about negotiation, and I believe that on a daily basis, somehow we interact or we are exposed to a situation where we need to negotiate something. So it's really important to know how to handle these situations because we will face on a daily basis from small things such as what decide whether to go to eat with your friend, either to Burger King or McDonald's. There's a negotiation there, or whether to buy a house or a car. Those are big negotiations. So it's good for us to understand the importance and the skills needed in order to have a successful negotiation process. This book provides a description and techniques in order to have an efficient negotiation, also how to overcome some of the obstacles that sometimes you guys will face in a negotiation process, or probably you already did face in the past. So the purpose of this book is pretty simple. It's not to teach you how to win a negotiation, but instead is to take negotiation as a part of your life experience and take that experience to learn in the future and to make that moment, that experience, the best out of it. So this book is based on one single value, and it's the value of a win-win situation, or in other words, it's the value of a mutual gain. The book is based in 4 different principles. First principle is separate the people from the problem. Sometimes we go to negotiations already with a closed mind and on a set up mind of what's going to happen or who we're dealing with, and we don't leave our emotions aside. We go there already thinking and assuming what's going to happen, and we don't focus on the main issue, which is the negotiation, which is satisfying my need and satisfying the need of the other party. So it's it's a good advice to focus on the issue, on the issue, because you're not gonna negotiate. You will negotiate with a person, but at the end, it's something else that is gonna come as a result. The second principle is to focus on the needs rather than the position. What I mean by position is that sometimes when we go on a negotiation, we assume that one party will win, another party will lose. I know that's not exactly true. After reading the book, you need to know that there has to be a mutual gain for both parties, and that's how an efficient negotiation will arise. And your position is something that you have decided upon, but you're interested. Your needs are what causes you to decide. That's the main difference you need to know. The third different principle is generate a lot of options for the negotiation. This means that brainstorming is never a bad idea. It's always good to come up with a lot of options or solutions or outcomes of negotiation in order to narrow it to the best options and then have a final decision. Of course, this decision, as I said it before, is going to be based on the single value of a win-win situation or mutual gain for both of the parties being, or more parties being, part of the negotiation. The fourth principle that the book based the negotiation techniques on is be always supported by objective criteria. What I mean by this, there is always gonna be people that didn't read this book, of course, and they won't have the tips or hints that you guys will have. And the best way to deal with those people is always to go with some extra documentation or support of your arguments. By these, I mean scientific findings, journals, statistics, news, everything that can prove what you're saying, to prove your point in order to deal with this type of people. In conclusion, this book will not teach you something that you don't know. It will remind you things that you don't know and you take as granted, but then when you go to the negotiation, you forget about them. So it's not something that you are going to read this book and you're going to be, oh, I'm ready for a negotiation and I'm going to win it. This book is about making the best out of a negotiation and making a good experience for you and the other party. It is also about making a mutual game between both of the parties. You win and I win, and that's how we're gonna get the best experience out of the process. And I will quote the author of this book. I will say, this book is about how to make the best out of the process with your difference. So, what I have related this book to what I have learned in 1 year and a half that we all take the MBA classes. So there's two important aspects. First one is about servant leadership. Every class we take, every business function, finance, marketing, economics, analysis, every single one of them, it was based on a servant leadership style. And this is about negotiation. Negotiation is about serving your customer. It's about satisfying their needs instead of satisfying my needs of a profit. It's satisfying their needs. And I don't know if you guys remember one class ago for the homecoming event, the network event, the sales guy that talked to us, he talked and emphasized on this point about servant leadership and serve your customers and satisfy your needs. And I'll quote the Bible, Mark 10:45, where it says that God came here not to be, Jesus came to earth not to be served, but to serve other people. What a great example. We don't need anything else than just the main example of leadership in the world to tell us what to do. The second one is about, throughout all our classes, we learn that, especially nowadays, customer-driven companies, customer-minded companies are the ones that are being successful. And if we do really want to take the negotiation to a next step, we need to focus on our customers. Customers are what drives businesses. Customers are what make businesses being profitable. So we need to find a way to build a relationship and connect with our customers for the long term. For the short term, it might be good to have a negotiation and do unethical stuff and sell. It might look fine for you and sell your product or sell your service or get the deal, but in the long term, that relationship won't grow and you will lose the customers. And we all know that it costs more to gain customers than to retain customers. So I have three takeaways from this book, and those are pretty simple. The first one is put yourself in the shoes of the other party. Be aware where they're coming from, who they are, and go from then in the negotiation. Understand what they want and their needs. The second one is satisfy the needs of your customer. It's not about profit. Nowadays it's more about connecting with them. And if you can satisfy the basic needs that they're looking for, then you're one step ahead in the negotiation and getting the deal. Remember, we are motivated by God, so our main focus is to satisfy the needs and not satisfy other needs such as profit. And we read this relates to the last book that we read, Serving Two Masters. Finally, my last takeaway is be able to communicate efficiently to your other party, and that goes along with getting to know them and where they're coming from and knowing what their needs are. If you study your other party and you know all of their background, where they're coming from and their needs, you will be able to communicate them efficiently and in a way they will be able to understand you. Thank you so much. If you wanna read this book, here it is. It's an awesome book, and I appreciate it. Sorry it took me so long, and 1 week more, guys. Bye.